Hey, what's up, friends? It's Hamez here, and welcome to the channel. I think you guys have probably guessed by now we're very much a Burning Abyss loving channel, but I thought I'd kick our first video for the channel to be a Burning Abyss deck profile. But the channel's basically going to be going down the route of doing as much as we can during the time of quarantine. That's going to be box openings, going to be some from scratch stuff going on, and and just trying to keep ourselves busy and have some fun. I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh! A few years ago. I've missed out on a lot in that time. I missed the entire Link period and Master Rule 4. So with Master Rule 5 coming in, we thought we'd start off with a Burning Abyss deck profile. Now, Burning Abyss is based off of the Divine Comedy, which is a epic poem by Dante Alighieri, and otherwise known as, boom, big boy, Dante's Inferno now. I don't have the book on me, the poem book on me, so sadly that's in my dad's attic, and because of the quarantine, I can't go and visit him. So I thought, a little visual interpretation of Dante's Inferno from the official PlayStation game. So what we're going to do is we're going to get into the deck profile, and if there's any suggestions you guys would make to maybe improving the deck or putting a bit more consistency in there, or some spicy little text that you put in yourself, leave them in the comments. I'd love to hear any feedback. This deck is as up to date as I can get with the cards I currently have, and with the new ban list and everything that came out. So without further ado, let's get into the actual deck profile. Now, to kickstart the deck, we're going to start with one Graph and one Seer. Now, when I first played Burning Abyss, these guys were both at 3, and it made the deck unbelievably powerful and consistent. You could really play a pure Burning Abyss variant when these two were at 3, but they're not. They're at 1, and I do understand why. So you've just got to try and work around it. But I've tried to keep as pure as possible. Most of the monsters in this deck, I say most. There's a large amount of Burning Abyss monsters in this deck, but we adapt with the times. So we start off with one Graph, one Seer, then we have triple Scarm. Scarm really does help get this deck and just increase that consistency. You have to play him at 3. Then I play triple Farfa. Farfa's just fantastic for getting over a board that I would normally not be able to. It helps me just sort of disrupt my opponent, maybe even during their turn with one of the big cards later on, which will be Beatrice, and it helps clear any cards that I might not be able to attack over with, most of my 2/5 attack monsters. So yeah, we also play double Libic. There we go. We play double Alich. And then we round off with one Cowcab, one Kagna, one Drahig, one Barbar, and then one Rubik. And Rubik for me is really important. I would possibly play him at 2, because I do love the Synchro Virgil. I have a massive attachment to that character from the actual poem and from the video game. But we'll play him at 1 just for pure consistency for the deck. But yeah, so that is the Burning Abyss lineup. Now, these next cards, I think, as honorary Burning Abyss monsters, they really, really improve this deck, and they work hand in hand. It's like they were kind of built for Burning Abyss, which they clearly weren't, but they really work together. So I play triple Fiendish Rhino Warrior. Now, I view him as the babysitter of the Burning Abyss. What he does is, while he's on the field, the Burning Abyss cards can't destroy themselves. Every Burning Abyss monster has an effect that means that if any other monster card on the field that isn't a Burning Abyss is on the field, they basically pop themselves. So Fiendish Rhino Warrior stops that from happening. He also is a Foolish Burial when he's sent to the graveyard, so he works really, really well in this deck. Then, since she's now been bumped up to 2, we play double Tour Guide from the Underworld. Now, the next video I'm going to be putting out is we're going to open up 10 boxes, that's right, 10, of Dual Overload. And I'm hoping to pull not only a Chris John, Haki Fibrex, or Needle Fiber, however you want to call him, but I want to pull the alternative art for Tour Guide. I think she's a fantastic card. Once again, she was at 3 when I played Burning Abyss, and having her at 2 just helps keep that consistency. And if you've got Skarm in your grave in the end phase, just adding her to your hand, she just sparks this deck completely. So yeah, play triple Phoenix Rhino Warrior and double Tall Guy from the Underworld. As I said, the honorary Burning Abyss monsters. Now, next up, some people do play this card at 3. I play him at 2. I play Mathematician, double Mathematician. Now, like I said, some people do play him at 3, but I like to play him at 2 because I don't want to open up with 3 of him in my hand. But what he does is when he's normal summoned, you can send one level 4 or lower monster from your deck to the grave. And that can be a Burning Abyss monster, but it can also be the Phantom Knight engine, which I play, and I'll be showing that next as well. But if you want, what I don't want to happen is to special summon a Burning Abyss monster. He's in the field and they just pop themselves, unless I want to get the effect off. But I think playing at 2, it's a nice amount to make sure I do get him in my hand sometimes when I need him, but I don't want to open up with 3. So I think, just play him at 2. I think is the right amount for me. But you guys play around with it. Let me know what you think of it. But for me, Mathematician at 2. Now, next, like I said, we play the Phantom Knight engine, and I was umming and ahhing about how much I play of each card, but this is what I came down to in the end, and it's triple Phantom Knight of Silent Boots, and I think that is kind of the standard of what you play with the Phantom Knight engine. But up next, I play one copy of Phantom Knight of Ragged Gloves, and then just the one Ancient Cloak. And same kind of reason as Mathematician. I don't want them to be clogging up my hand. I only really want the 2 potential normal summons to then special summon Silent Boots off of that. But they have really good effects in the grave as well, so I can get the trap cards off of it. Also, Silent Boots is fantastic just to special summon himself out. We'll go over combos at the end of the video, and if I pull some of the Phantom Knights in my test hands, then I'll show you guys that as well. But yeah, I think for me this is the right number for the Phantom Knights engine. And then to round off the monster cards in the deck, we have one Dark Armed Dragon. Let's move these off. We've one Dark Armed Dragon and then one Vanity's Fiend. Now I play one Dark Armed Dragon because with this deck it's extremely easy to get exactly 3 monsters into the grave. 3 dark monsters into the grave, and with cards that we play later on, we'll be able to mess around with our graveyard and make that specifically 3 if we get too deep into the match and we're about 6, 7, 8 dark monsters into the grave. But Dark Armed Dragon feels like he's like a middle to end game card. Like I don't want to rely on him, but if I need a beat stick or something to destroy cards on the field by banishing a dark in the graveyard, he really is the card to do that. And Vanity's Fiend is he's a normal summon. You sacrifice the monsters you require because he cannot be special summoned. And once he's on the field, neither player can special summon cards. So he is essentially our winder in that position, and locks our opponent out of the special. Out of being able to special summon monsters. But once again, I don't want to rely on him, but he is just a nice option to play with our deck. So yes, that rounds up the monster cards in our deck. Right, so now we have the magic cards in our deck, and we play. Now it's been bumped to 3. We play triple pot of Avarice, and for 2 reasons really. One, for the draw power. We will most definitely get 5 monsters into the grave. So it's nice to recycle things that way. More importantly, with Beatrice limited to 1, usually that would have been a problem before if she's popped off the field. As much as she special summons something from the extra deck, you don't have access to her again. But with Pot of Avarice at 3, we're able to target her 4 other monsters and just shuffle them back into the deck. She goes back to the extra deck and we draw 2 cards. It's perfect for this kind of deck. Another magic card we play is Allure of Darkness. I've been toying with playing 2. I think I probably should play 2. I'll see how I get along. Next time I play this with this particular deck online, or when the lockdowns eventually lifted, going to locals. But I kind of feel like 1 might have been enough for me. but I might bump it up to 2, you never know, and remove maybe a Mathematician or an extra Burning Abyss monster. But for me, triple Pot of Avarice and Allure of Darkness, it is perfect for me. And then, so that's our draw power. Then to round off the magic cards, we have 1 Foolish Burial and 1 Monster Reborn. Now, Foolish Burial, I mean, if you open with that, or even if you top deck that, it's the perfect situation for you. You can really get your plays going with whatever you need. And then Monster Reborn, it's at 1. Why not use it? I might be able to revive a Farfa in a particular situation. It pops itself and then banish something on the field, or revive a Dante, or revive any monster in the graveyard, and it just really helps keep the duel going. So, if you open with it, it's fine, whatever, but that's unlikely to happen. You're likely to draw it, and can really help you out in some situations. So so that rounds off the magic cards in our deck. And then we only play 3 traps. And those are triple Phantom Knights, Fogblade. And Fogblade, for me, is just a fantastic trap card to play. And it is searchable off of boots and glove and cloak as well. And it just sort of, not only does it negate any card your opponent has, but also when it's in the graveyard, you can banish it and special summon a Phantom Knight card. And then, say if you have a Phantom Knight or Silent Boots in your hands, you can then just special summon it from there, go into your XYZ plays or your Link plays and go from there. But I think for me, it's the perfect trap card to complement this deck, and it rounds it off. So now we're going to go into the extra deck. Now, with the extra deck, I'll start off with the Burning Abyss monsters, because that's what we're here for. Now, of course, we play triple of our main boy, Dante, Traveller of the Burning Abyss. He is the main boy of this deck, and he just gets everything going. He's my favourite card. He's the reason why I asked people to make some art for him for the logo for the channel. And he is just phenomenal in what he does. He recycles cards from the grave when he gets to the grave. He mills cards. When he attacks, he switches into defense mode afterwards. You can XYZ Beatrice on top of him. He's just fantastic. I'm so happy he's not been limited. Hasn't been limited. And with Burning Abyss not being a meta deck, it's better than casual play, but I wouldn't call it a meta deck. It's very unlikely he's going to get hit, especially with, Graph being hit to 1, Seer being hit to 1, Beatrice being hit to 1. And then originally when I played it, we had the Speed Droids, we had the Predaplant engines, and those were all hit to 1. So I think Konami have done enough to Burning Abyss, and I don't think they'll hit our big boy, Dante. So yeah, if you play triple Dante, then I play double Cherubini Ebon Angel of the Burning Abyss. Now, when I originally played Burning Abyss, links weren't around, so this is only something I've acquired over the last couple of weeks, really. And I think it's such a good card. I think it's exactly what Burning Abyss needed. It's protection from popping things. It helps, especially with the PK Fire thing going on, helping to protect cards. But what it does is you activate its ability. You can send 1 level 3 or lower monster from your deck to the grave, and it gains the attack of that monster. Now, not only does that increase its attack from 500 to whatever, say you picked, I don't know, let me have a little through. What I would normally do, actually, is I would send Fiendish Rhino Warrior, so he gains 1400 attack. Fiendish Rhino Warrior then activates ability in grave, you Foolish Burial something, you special summon, or you activate that ability. You do whatever you need to do. It really is perfect. But also, any monsters it points to with its arrows cannot be destroyed by card effect. And should this card be destroyed, or would it be destroyed by card effect or by battle, you can actually destroy one other card on the field instead of it. So it's the card reading of it, the card description, really makes you think you really want to keep this card on the field. It's really important to you, and can really help your deck out a lot, especially against meta decks as well. So so double Cherubini, Ebon Angel of the Burning Abyss. Next up, we play the Goddess. You've got to play Beatrice, Lady of Eternal. She is probably, I wish she was at 3. God, it would be amazing if she was at 3. But she is one of the best cards in this deck. She can Foolish Burial during either player's turn, and that can really mess up the other player's turn. I love to wait until the opponent's done their normal summon, see what that card is. If it has anything that I don't like, activate her ability, detach an XYZ material, dump a Farther from the grave, banish that card. Or, you know, if in the end phase, if nothing's happened, I can dump a Scarm, set up my turn. She can be XYZ'd by overlaying on top of another Burning Abyss extra deck card. So that could be, you know, either the Burning other Burning Abyss extra deck cards, but normally it's going to be a Dante. But also, when she's destroyed, she special summons a Burning Abyss card from your extra deck, ignoring the special summon conditions. But she just is an amazing card and really just helps bump this deck up completely. And speaking of the other extra deck Burning Abyss cards, we play one Virgil, who I talked about earlier on. He's the Synchro card. And then one Dante Pilgrim of the Burning Abyss. Now, in the story for Dante's Inferno, the Divine Comedy, Dante goes through hell in order to find Beatrice. And this is essentially what I think would happen, is what happens at the end of the Divine Comedy. It starts off in limbo, goes into hell, or then goes into heaven. Or it might be the other way around. I think it was hell, limbo, heaven. But either way. Oh, no, purgatory. That's it. Yeah, so I think this is what happens to Dante when he goes into heaven. They're both brilliant cards. Virgil is, you know, you can discard a Burning Abyss card from your hand and then shuffle a card from your opponent's side of the field or in their graveyard back into their deck. And then Dante the Pilgrim, if he, you can discard a card, draw a card. It has to be a Burning Abyss card that you discard. And I think he also cannot be destroyed by, cannot be targeted by opponent's card effects. So he's a fantastic card. And I just love the artwork of these cards. They're just pieces of art. These all of these extra deck cards are just beautifully made. Let me set that up properly. Just look at that. Like, they're just beautiful. Fantastic. You know, and there's been some fantastic paintings of Dante's Inferno that I really, really strongly suggest you guys look up. I remember watching a documentary about it and I got inspired by that. But yes, so yeah, that's the Burning Abyss side of the extra deck. Now we go into the other extra deck cards, and we have two Phantom Knights of Breaksword. Now, I potentially would bump this up to 3, but I think 2 is enough. You know, I never play more than 2. And you've got Pot of Avarice now to recycle things. And what he does, he pops something on the field, including him. It could be himself, and then something on the other side of the field. But what's really interesting is if you have Cherubini pointing to him, you can pop himself, something on the other side of the field. Because of Cherubini's effect, this card is not destroyed, but the opponent's card is destroyed. So I think fantastic thing. Also, if he is sent to the graveyard, he can then special summon 2 Phantom Knight cards onto the field, but their ranks are then level. So they're level 4s instead of level 3s, which then leads into Dark Rebellion Dragon, which I think is another fantastic extra deck card. After that, we have Levier, the Sea Dragon. We have Super Quantum Mech Beast Grand Pulse. And then after that, we have Gaia, Dragon the Thunder Charger, who goes on top of the Beatrice card. We overlay with that for piercing damage. And then we've got Utopic Future. It's very often I have 2 Dantes on the field. Sometimes it's revived by a Seer, or actually it's usually revived by a Seer. So if I have 2 Dantes on the field, overlay them, and I've got Utopic Future, and you know, we know what this boy does. It's fantastic. So yeah, that is the main deck, and I'll go grab the side deck. Now, of course, with any side deck, it's always down to, you know, what the meta is or what's going on in your locals. But I thought I'd start off with like a sort of generic side deck package. So I have triple Ash Blossom and Joy Spring, triple Twin Twisters for the back row, triple Called by the Grave, and then 1 Solemn Judgment. I toyed between a Solemn Strike, but I don't actually have one, so I thought I'd go with Solemn Judgment. And then to round off the side deck, because a lot of my friends play graveyard-based decks as well, what I have is triple Mask Change 2, and then of course Big Boy, Darklaw, which means that any time a card would go to the grave for my opponent, it's banished instead. And if they add a card from the deck to the hand, apart from the draw phase, Darklaw banishes one random card from their hand. And I think it's a really good card to side in for game 2, possibly even 3, depending on what's happened. And it can really turn the tide for me. It can really stop their plays. But obviously, it's all just down to if they are a graveyard-based deck. So yeah, that is the side deck, and now we'll go into a couple of combos. So I'm just going to shuffle up my deck, and I'll get back to you. Okay, so I've just done 2 big boy shuffles, so I'll do one more normal shuffle, and then we'll cut the deck. And I'm not going to trust myself, so I'm going to cut not just once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 times. Let's just say our opponent has trust issues. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now that is a really good opening hand, and we're going to be playing first. So our plan is we're going to normal summon Tour Guide. We're then going to special summon. Where are you? We're going to special summon the Graph. Actually, what we're going to do is we're going to link away into Cherubini. So Graph's effect's going to activate in Grave, and we're going to special summon. Who have we not got? Yeah, we'll special summon the Scarm. Then what we'll do is we will special summon a Kagna, and then XYZ into Big Boy Dante. And we have options here. We can then use Dante's effect to mill, but what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to discard Libic to overlay straight into Beatrice. Libic's effect in Grave, special summon Farfar, but its effects are negated while it's on the field, so that's fine. And then we have our board of a Cherubini, a Beatrice, and a Farfar. And then obviously during the opponent's turn, we can detach. We can then send a Farfar from our grave to disrupt. We can send a Phoenix Rhino Warrior. So I think that's a really strong board. We have, obviously Dante will then recycle from there. So that's our first test hand. I think that's a really strong opening board. And then we'll draw. 1, 2, okay. 3, nice. 4, nice. 5, nice. Okay. So what we'll do from here, I think, is normal summon the Mathematician. His effect in grey. His effect will then send a Phoenix Rhino Warrior. Phoenix Rhino Warrior's effect will send a Libic, which then special summons our Seer. We will then XYZ into a Dante. Let's shuffle this up properly. And we have 2 things we can do here, but what I will do first is I'll detach Seer and then mill for 3. Got Boots, got a Scarm, nice, and we've got Kagna. Okay, so what we'll do is Seer's effect in Grave will special summon the Scarm. And then we'll activate the effect of Farfar to special summon itself, and we'll link away into Cherubini. What we'll do there is we'll discard the Scarm in our hand, special summon a Beatrice in defense mode, and we've got a Boots in hand. We've then got Scarm's effect in the end phase to add a Tour Guide to hand. So then we've got a Tour Guide to the hand, and that sets us up for the next turn. We've also got Beatrice and Cherubini on the board. Now, like I said, this deck isn't meta. You know, Burning Abyss hasn't been meta for a while, but it's such a fun deck to play around with. It's somehow survived, you know, for however long it's been around. And like I said, the artwork is fantastic. There are cards that just seem to be built for it. And this playmat, I'm just obsessed with the playmat. I wanted it when it originally came out in like 2017, and I'm so glad I've got it now. But yes, guys, so that was the a deck profile for Burning Abyss. If you like the video, please like it and then subscribe to the channel. Like I said earlier in the video, if you have any suggestions for any cards you'd put into the deck, any changes you'd make to it, please do leave those below. And our next video will be me opening 10 boxes of Dual Overload. So hopefully, like I said, we'll get the alternative art for our girl tour guide. I would love to have one of the original arts and then one alternative art. And we'll see what happens there. So yeah, please subscribe to the channel and stay safe during this time. And have fun dueling, guys. See you later.